Hey you guys, thanks for watching another Duchess G Buns tarot video. If my voice is not at its peak and and you hear me clearing my throat, I want to apologize. I had the flu last week and I'm getting over it, but it's just been kind of a rocky thing for my voice lately. So I did a poll on my Facebook page and I did two options. So I did whether you guys wanted to hear a message from your past loved ones or hear what your pet thinks. Most of you guys voted for past loved ones, so we're gonna do that. And then hopefully next week, if everything goes well, I would like to do one about your pets and I could tell you guys what your pets are thinking. So just to give y'all a heads up, I had a lot of emotions whenever I was doing these piles because I kept getting texts from people during it, and at first I thought it was very distracting and disruptive almost, and then my brain was like, no, your spirit guides are calling you to really embrace these emotions. I have a hard time embracing my heart sometimes, and I tend to think so logical when it comes to myself, to the point when it's time to have emotion, I shut down. And which pushed me even further to want to do this reading, because I feel like you guys probably have some similar things going on where you really need to hear from somebody besides everybody telling you the same thing. I want you guys to remember that tarot reading and oracle reading and messages from the other side is just another opinion, but I wouldn't take their opinion lightly. I'd take it seriously because they know your worth a lot better than others do, and they see the best and the worst of you when others aren't, you know? So, just to start, I chose just 3 clear quartz crystals. So we have pile 1. This one's a good chunky boy. And this is one of the first crystals I ever bought. And it means the world to me. I'm not gonna give it up for anything. And I don't really have anything other than there's a point to it, and I like it. And then we have our crystal number 2. I believe I bought this one. I think I bought it from Scotland. I can't remember, but I just remember I was out of country when I bought this one. But I really enjoy it. It's beautiful. This is the one I like staring into the most. So this is pile number 2. And then pile number 3, someone bought me this one. They bought it with, actually, we do Secret Santa at my job, and my coworker, she bought it for me. And I love all the crystals and stuff she bought me. So thank you, Ashley, I love you. But this is an in general thing. I will try to bring up specific family members because I usually am able to do that. I want you to keep in mind though, this is an in general reading, so not everything's going to relate, but hopefully it's the message you need to hear, okay? So just remember, this is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So before we start, I want to take 3 deep breaths because that helps me clear my mind and it helps me choose things better. So I want you guys to do the same. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it in and release. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. And the last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. So I'll close my eyes after this, and whichever pile, because if you have photographic memory, if you close your eyes and you remember what pile glows or circles, go with that one or go with the one that you fixate on. Without further ado, pause this if you need more time to choose, but without further ado, I think I'm going to start with pile number 1. So we're just gonna just move those up there. Okay. pile number 1, we got fruition, protection. We have the crow spirit that says co-create with spirit. We have the cat spirit that says claim your independence. And there's like all this room over here. Let me just do that. We have the lizard spirit that says dream the world into being. And then from, I'm a silly little goose, where did I put the deck at? I had a name for this deck, I just had it. Oh, I feel so embarrassed. Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. There we go. I was just gonna say Ancestors, but it's Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. We have Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. We have Summer, bask in joy and light. And then from another Angel Tarot deck, we have Harmony. We have Intention. And then we got 2 from my Moonology cards, A Time for Healing and the End of a Tough Cycle Approaches. All right. Well, so in this pile, what really speaks to me is 3 things pop in my head. They don't have to specific, it could fit whoever you feel like is calling to you, but so far I have a pet, I have a brother or a sister, and I have a aunt. That's what the message, that those are the people that are in there. Or this could be a distant friend, someone that passed on from when you were like a kid or teenage years. That's also popping in my head for some reason. This is interesting because you guys are all over the place, which goes to show to me that you have been going through a really tough cycle. The world's in a very interesting place, and we're all kind of, we don't know where to stand, where to walk, where to say something, when not to say something, and we're all kind of just in this little funk, I feel, and we're trying to get ourselves out of it. And so with this pile, Spirit wants to bring up to you that there's harmony in your silence. It doesn't have to be, like, every time you're alone, it doesn't have to be sadness, you know? Because a lot of times, for people like me in particular, I like to, when I'm really sad, I just prefer to be alone. But something's telling me this is where you also need to find your harmony. So while you're crying, while you're having your moment, while you're missing your family or your pet, and you're just shedding tears over it, they want you to understand that this is another cycle. And cycles are much quicker than you think. They're not these years worth of Saturn returns and all this crazy stuff that astrology, TikTok, and stuff will tell you. What it is we're humans with emotions, and I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit where it's due. And with that being said, I feel like you guys have been reflecting by yourselves for a little bit, and you've had your moment of weakness, or not even weakness, ew, I don't like that. I feel like not a moment of weakness, but a moment of having to let out those emotions that have been stuck on you for a while. And I think your spirit guides want you to acknowledge that it's not because you're weak or you're not over this. Negative emotions are supposed to continue to come here and there in your life, and when you get them, sometimes we put them away a lot, but you guys really accepted your negative emotions. You expressed them, you felt them, and I think you're moving past them, and it's a really beautiful feeling. And for some reason, I like that summer is in here, because I really feel like this summer is going to be a different light for you. I feel like it's going to be happier. So I don't know if you may have seasonal depression, but summer may be a better time for you. I get a lot of earth energy from this chart, Sorry. Instead of chart, I meant chart. Okay, my bad. Back to what I was. Okay, anyways. So what I get from you guys is that you're all earth signs judging me right now. And I love it. When y'all get your hearts broken, you feel like you need to be by yourself to glam up and have your makeover and do all this stuff. And even if you're not an earth sign, you can just relate to that statement. You like to be by yourself when you go through things. But this is a time where I feel like you know you're a little bit better, so it's time to get out there. So if you've been single, maybe go out with your friends more. Not finding love, just getting out the house for God's sakes. You probably haven't showered in a couple days. I feel like you do nothing but reflect in this pile. I feel very grounded in this pile. Y'all need to figure out what you need to do. Like, your spirit guides are like, cool, you've had your moment of rest. It's time to get up. It's time to get up. It's time to plan. It's time to do something. This is the time where I'd say from 2023 to 2027 are going to be the most important years coming up for you, for this pile. And I need you guys to really step up your game and step to the plate. So if you've been thinking about going to school, you need to make that decision this year. No more lollygagging, get it together. You were trying to open a business, it needs to be this year. If you were trying to decide, you know, when you want to have kids, you need to figure out a time frame. Like, you need to own it. You need to own those things and not be ashamed of them, because whoever fucks with you is going to be the ones that's going to stick around for that, you know? Like, they're going to have your back. And they'll know it, because you're not being demanding. You're setting your standard for yourself, and you want others to respect those standards that you're putting out there. The reason why I keep getting more outside family members for this pile is that for some reason I get this feeling like childhood, maybe you were with your aunt or your cousins or brother or sister. I feel like you've lost this person when you were younger. And so sometimes you have random moments where you reflect and you're like, oh my gosh, I've not honored them the way they need to be honored. And they want to tell you that you've honored me the best way possible, and that is living your life the way you're supposed to. If you didn't honor them, you would still be stuck in this rut, and you're not. You've moved on with your life, and that's what they want. And they've always been with you this whole time. They've always been with you. I do want to bring up as well that we have, I mean, obviously angels and stuff are going to be a theme, but I noticed that this pile has nothing but wings. So your family member that's passed on, I feel like they are your personal guardian angel. If you ever need to ask your family who they are and stuff, you have that power to do that. You don't have to be psychic. You don't have to have special gifts. You can concentrate, teach yourself to have your spirit guides around you. But you need to be very specific whenever you call upon them, because anyone could take that calling as something different. And I think I'm going to make a video on that, because for some reason this pile, you guys are giving me the vibes that you want to be more in touch with your ancestors and your spirit guides and the people that have passed on. So this is my pile where you're like, I might be atheist, might be agnostic, we don't know. That's okay. I'm not judging that. If not that, you believe in what you believe in, and you're probably not going to stray from it. But just know that there's more things than you think out there. You've been in this healing and protecting yourself state. They want to bring that up, and that's great. They're ready for you to grow out of it. What did you learn from being in this time by yourself? You learned to protect yourself. You've learned that you can be by yourself. You've learned that you have independence. But what have we learned so far, and how are we going to take it out into the world is what they want you to bring up. And I keep bringing up goals, because even if it's a goal to go traveling somewhere or just have a vacation or a goal to be happy, you haven't really been pursuing towards that goal, and that's what they want to bring to your attention. Like, you know what quote keeps popping in my head? It's like the worst thing ever in comparison. I keep thinking of Kim Kardashian, because she's like the worst person in the world to bring it up with. But she's like, hey, you just need to get your butts up, and like, you need to work. Like, it's kind of what your spirit guides are telling me to tell you right now. in the most respectful manner, of course. When they're saying it with excitement and they want what's best for you. But these next 4 years are going to be really important. I'm putting emphasis on that. So if you don't know whether you want to get married or not, you need to figure that out. You ain't got no time to be dating no man or dating no girl for 10 years and you don't know what you want, because that's not fair to them and it's not fair to yourself, because you could have been using that energy towards something even better. So the message from this pile I want to jump to and then I need to break away from is break every chain. I know that seems very Christian, but it's true. Break every chain. We need to be done with this. So all these things you're holding on to, this is the year to let it go. So if you need to get a plate, write on it with a Sharpie, all the things you want to let go, put it in a Ziploc bag and crush it on the ground and like spiritually and have a symbolism to let it go, do so. But your spirit guides need you to grow. They're ready for you to take better steps in life. Sorry if I'm a little angsty in this pile, but this is the energy they wanted me to bring to you. They bring it out of love and they love and care about you. So that's all I got for you guys. I love y'all. And just remember that I fuck with y'all, okay? And that's why I talk the way I talk. Now we got pile 2. Hi, pile 2. We got nourishment. We have pleasure. We have Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. We have Groundhog Spirit, time to let go. We have Autumn, release old and rest. We have Mountain, stand your ground. We have Signs. We have Enchantment. And we have Adjustments are required and luck is on your side. Interesting. Okay. So this pile to start, your past loved one. I hate to put gender to it, but I get a very masculine grandfather presence. Grandfather or very much older, elder person in your life that passed on. They want to start their message out with, I did not live my life to the fullest, and my job as a guardian angel is to help you live your life to the fullest. I don't know why it's said like that, but I'm going to throw it out there that way. So this may be my pile where we tend to be the damsel in distress. But they want to bring up to you that I feel like this is one of my love piles where you guys are really trying to figure out whether this relationship's what you want, or if you feel like you want to get into a relationship with a specific person. For those who are debating whether they want to stay in a relationship or not, you know that you probably don't want to be in this relationship anymore. And that's what they want to bring to your attention. So if you are in a relationship, you probably don't want this anymore. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you aren't in a relationship, like you're single and you're debating on whether to be with someone or not, they want you to not focus on that as much and to have pleasure in your life, and you will have better signs from them specifically. Because you should never have to question whether somebody wants you or not. It should never be a question. And that's where a clear conversation with that person needs to come in. I do want to say, when it comes to love and when it comes to like a comeback, so let's just say you break up with this person and you're ready for a comeback, luck is on your side in this. You'll have like that weight loss you've been wanting, whether that or you want to do like a little glam, like post breakup, like glam look, like you are totally in that power to do that. Or if you've been single and you've been planning out like, oh, like your birthday later this year, like this is your year, baby girl or baby boo, big old man, if you will. this is your year to like make it your big birthday, make it all about you, and you deserve that. Because if you're like me, we never made our birthdays a big deal, but this is the year we do it. Okay? So that's really in my head. Adjustments are required. So this card really sticks out to me because in order for these things to happen for you, you know that there's requirements that need to be done. So whether it be letting go of baggage, whether it be friends or lovers, because now friends are popping in my head. They want to point out that you are putting your efforts into people that aren't putting the same efforts into you. And that's what this grandfather, great uncle, uncle, father, like this older male presence that's in this reading wants to put out there. Also a guinea pig. I'm not sure why a guinea pig popped in my head, but I'm throwing that in there. They want to bring to your attention that you've had power this whole time and that you need to look for their signs more, because they've been throwing signs out there and you just kind of been looking the other way when they show us signs. So I need you to really take this sign whenever they put it out there. They love you, they care about you, and they show you these very abrupt signs for a reason. They're not violent or evil, but they're like, hey, this is not a good person, or hey, you need to focus on this, not this. Like, they want to make it aware to you that you're holding on to things that aren't helping you grow as a person. It's not nourishing you anymore. So the relationship you were in, it's not nourishing you. And I think you know that now, because there's been things happening in your relationship that have been getting really hectic, and I really need you to keep that in mind. The autumn, release the old and rest. This is it. Let it go, baby girl. I don't know what or baby boo, man, whatever. I don't know what's going on, but you have been really fixated on how people treat you lately. And it's not a bad thing. It's bringing attention to yourself. Who's really there for you and who isn't, you know? And I want you to know that there's a difference between it's your anxiety or triggers trying to tell you something and whether it's your gut feeling. Fun fact about trigger and anxieties, it tends to come with fear and all these shaky feelings and stuff. I'll tell you this, I've always known when somebody's jealous or having a problem with me, because when I say I've never had to think it, it just came in my head and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give them space until they're over it. I do it every time. When you know somebody puts ojo, evil eye or whatever on you, or negative vibes, you will know it. You will know it. And it has nothing to do with them hating or anything like that. You can just feel it. Now, when you're having anxiousness and you're starting to think, maybe this person doesn't like me, it comes with panic. It comes with delusions and stuff that or situations that you create in your head. When you know somebody ain't for you, it's just there and you know it's not there. Or sorry no, it's not there. You know it's there. There we go. So this pile, they really just wanted me to hone in and get you to reclaim your power back. Because I feel like you've always been in the background and it's time for you to be leader of the pack. And I don't mean that literally, like being lead of people's lives, but you know what I mean? Like, just be the spotlight. Give Leo energy, if you will. And I get a lot of daydreaming in this pile too. Like, you daydream a lot about how things should end up and go, but I feel like you're not manifesting it. And you can call it manifesting it, praying for it. No matter what, how you put it out in the universe, you have to put efforts towards those things. And so when you fantasize about something else and you're with another person, when you're fantasizing about being single, you need to put action towards that. You want to be single, leave that person. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. Nobody's growing in this anymore. Yes, it'll hurt in the beginning, but you will find yourself a year or 2 years from now looking back being like, that was the best decision I ever made. So I don't know why this is my love pile, but I just want to let y'all know, like, your spirit guides wanted to make very aware that you need to reclaim your power, let those things go so you can enjoy life and nourish yourself and love yourself the way you should have been these past few years. Because I feel like you've let yourself go emotionally. And so now you just let very specific loved ones walk all over you, and you don't need to be doing that no more. They're telling you to step up to the plate and stand up for yourself. So That's all I got for you, pile number 2. Just know that I love you guys. And when I talk in this stern voice, it's because I love y'all. Last but not least, pile number 3. Okay, so for you guys, we got extremes. Okay, we got the masculine. We're okay. Anyways, not sure why I did that. We have electric eel spirit. It says bring your ideas to life. We have the scarab beetle spirit. Magic works through you. We have the pig spirit. Oh my gosh, look how cute that is. Use your mind wisely. Oh my god, you guys, look at your piggy wiggy little baby. Okay, anyways. Then we have from our Ancestors and Angels deck, we have Lord, take charge and authority. Looking like a whole elf. Okay. We have Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Ooh, love that one. And then from our angel deck, we have study. We also have spiritual growth. And then from our Moonology cards, we have prosperity lies ahead and a personal issue reaches resolution. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, you guys, this is my pile that may be ahead of the pack. I'm in love with this. So the past loved ones that want to reach out are very interesting. Sorry, they're like throwing things in my brain right now and I'm trying to organize it because again, it's in general, so like all these things are coming to me and I'm like, bleh. Who is speaking in this pile the most? We have our mother, grandmothers. We have very elderly animals, Like I'm talking your dog or cat lived like 13 to 20 years old. Like they lived a hot second. So we got a very elder feminine presence. So whether it be your grandmother, whether your mother, maybe she wasn't necessarily old, but I'm saying she was, you know, she held the family together. I'm gonna throw aunts in there because there's like 2 aunts that stepped forward that really care about their nieces and nephews in this pile very deeply. So if you had a very deep connection with your aunt in particular, this pile is for you as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into what they wanted to tell you. Basically, you're a boss ass bitch and you know this, and your powers, like I call it power, but you know, the energy, the light within you, it's been growing and growing, and maybe you've been in a very isolated state, but you're ready to put yourself out there. You're ready to be a little more intense, and it's kind of like weird because it's like your passions in life, and then it's also like spicy, and I'll get into the spicy part in a second. I'll tell you why the spicy part comes into mind. You guys tend to be the more introverted folks, and you know when it's time to raise your voice and say something. And I really like that about this pile, because for people like me, I like to explain myself constantly, and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And you guys are the opposite. You're like, I don't need to explain myself to anyone. But now is the time to really hone in on those things that work up in you. So like right now I keep feeling like anger's building in my chest. It's because you've been really holding back something you want to say to somebody. And I'm not saying yell it or anything like that. I say write it down, because this is my pile. You stay introverted until your temper gets a little too high, and then you let it all out. and it comes out all crazy and stuff, but really it's not. It's actually a valid response, but you know, we got to bring our shit correctly so we don't look crazy, because you know how that is. I really do recommend that if you guys are going to confront someone on something, just be prepared to bring in that oomph when you do it. So when someone tries to interrupt you while you're having this discussion, you're gonna be like, no, excuse me, I wasn't finished with my sentence. I let you speak, it's my turn to speak. See how that made the silence like, damn. Yeah, well, this is my pile for that. I'm not telling you to be sassy or anything towards anybody, but it's getting to the point where you know who's just BSing you, and it's a lot of work energy. Or like when you go out with your friends and you always have that friend that like doesn't pay. It's kind of like that energy. Like you need to be like, hey, you know, we all bought our own drinks, we're not gonna buy yours, you know, like. Or like when you're with your friends and they're like, oh, well, we want to go do this, even though you had very much stated in the beginning that you wanted to do this, but they changed their mind instead. Hold your ground and be like, hey, I don't want to go do that, so I'm gonna go do my own thing. It's not a mean thing. It's like, hey, I don't feel like doing that. You don't have to do that. Just throwing that out there. You don't have to. Also, be aware of friends that always want to do the same thing. So if you have friends that all they want to do is go drinking and party a lot, keep in mind, are those friends wanting the best for you, or they want you there in their misery? And that is something you need to think about. Which I found ironic because it says use your mind wisely. So I think your brain gets like, when you get tempered, it's like your brain imagines like almost jumping the person. Sorry. I'm laughing because like whoever's thoughts these are, like, you just build up a lot of anger and it just comes out real crazy. But you're not afraid to take charge of a situation. I just need you to read the room before you do so. So if it's at work while you're clocked in, probably not the best time to confront somebody, in my opinion, unless it's professional and needed and your bosses are there and this, that, and the third. Or if you want to confront somebody that's did you dirty, just make sure it's the right setting, the right time, and you feel safe when you do it. Because people are crazy nowadays. When you do let these things out, you're going to figure out what doors you're opening for yourself. I almost felt calm just saying that and made my mind blank. So whatever this pile is, like, y'all got a lot of things in your head and you just got to say it, and that way your brain can finally be clear. Because it's not even about the outcome that you want. Like, you know that life doesn't work the way it does. It works however it wants to. I think you just want to feel better by saying how you feel and putting it out there. And that's what these women wanted to bring up to you. Because you're not stupid. This is my gut feeling, pal. Like, you just know when somebody's BS. Like they could be so nice to everybody, including you, and you just know something's up their butt. Like, there's something's not right. Well, this is my pile. I like y'all. I mess with y'all. I vibe with y'all. Because that's what's going to get you the prosperity that you want, is following your gut. Because you're going to say something out loud and everybody's going to be like, oh my God, that's what I was thinking the whole time. And you're going to figure out who really, you're not the only one who is thinking it. You're just the one who's going to be out and say it. Also, these family members that have passed on, or spirit guides of yours, they want to bring up that you feel like that maybe you didn't get to say goodbye the proper way, because I feel like maybe you were much younger when all this happened. So whether it's the pet, the mother, the aunt, the grandmother, you didn't get to say goodbye the way you wanted to. Well, maybe not the way you wanted to, sorry. You didn't get to say goodbye as you grew older that you thought the way you wanted to, but they think you did it perfectly. They love you and they completely understand if you couldn't be in the room. They completely understand if you couldn't see them in that state. Because this pile, I imagine the person in a hospital bed or I imagine the animal being put down. And I'm not trying to be, sorry, I'm not trying to be graphic, but I just know that they were hospitalized in this pile or on hospice. And so I just want you guys to know they didn't think ill will of you protecting yourself, because you knew what would traumatize you and what wouldn't. And whenever you were praying about them, you were by yourself and you're like, I just miss you. I hope you know how much I love you. They hear every second of it. They hear every second of it. You're not crazy. So when you start crying over that pet you lost like 5 to 10 years plus ago or recently, you're not crazy. They're around you. When you think about your grandmother or your aunt or your mama, and you're just sitting there and you're like, wow, I really just want your presence. I really want your hug. Ask them for a hug. You're going to feel warmth over your body. And I sound crazy saying this, but whenever I miss my grandma, I'll start crying and like holding myself, and I'll feel this presence hug me. And it's always her every time. I've never had to question my grandma's love. It's always there. So, I just want y'all to know that, because I feel like y'all say things about them or you speak positive about them and you're like, I wonder if they can hear me. Well, they can. And I feel like you know it too. This is just clarification for that. For some reason, this pile symbols are coming in my head. So 1212, 1111, 1010, and 666. 666 is not what you think it is, but those are the numbers. So 1111, 1212, 1010, 666. So if you start seeing those numbers, it's probably them trying to tell you something. Maybe not the 666. For some reason, 666 keeps popping up as a license plate, but all the other three comes up as times. Like if you're at work and you're like, fuck it, what time is it? Oh, it's 10:10. That's weird. For some reason, a family member to me is saying that's them. So the study part, it's an interesting feeling because it has nothing, my brain doesn't even think of the word study. It literally just, it's almost like them telling me to tell you, them telling me to tell you, to tell your mom, tell your dad. No, pay attention to people's behaviors. Pay attention to somebody's face when you're telling them good news. Pay attention to your partner and how they react when you want to go on a date. Pay attention to your friends whenever you're opening up to them. Are they telling you the same advice over and over? Or are they listening and understanding that you just need to vent? Is your brother and sister actually there for you, or are they just talking to you because they need something from you again? God is always listening. God is always watching. And God's not being creepy. God loves you. And I feel like you haven't been praying enough. And I'm not trying to sound like a Christian. I'm just saying spiritually. I feel like you haven't been casting your cares to the Lord. I know it sounds very Christian of me, but at the end of the day, God's my person. And I really feel like y'all could benefit from really venting to somebody, like just having a really good time with your friend and get coffee and really vent and everything out, or you really just need to cry to God. I really feel like I can hear you praying right now and crying to God, or crying to your family, and I think you need that. Because there's power in you that you don't know yet. So I don't know if you're into possibly witchcraft or spirituality or something. This is a good manifestation pile. You work manifestations a lot better when you're in a very high, intense emotion. So when you're crying tears of joy, that's when you want to start manifesting. When you're angry and you're crying because you're upset, that's when you want to write down what you want to let go. This is a very big manifestation pile. You're very in touch with your emotions, and I've always felt like you guys have put your heart on your sleeve in this pile, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to put that out there. And finally, that's probably why that hot moon extremes comes in, because I feel like y'all get so stressed it's in your dreams. like your teeth are falling out, or you're arguing with people in your dreams, or car accident dreams for some reason pop in my head. Just, I don't know, those specific things pop in. It's to the point where it gets in your dreams. So you need to, I feel like you really need to have a moment where you just let it all out one way or another. Go to a, what are those places called? You like beat up, I said beat up. You like, you smash things in a room. Rage room, there we go. For some reason, this is a rage room. Like, rage room is a good idea. Jumping on trampolines, just something active where it requires like tension. Like, so tug of war. I don't know why tug of war came into mind, but it did. Climbing a rope or jumping off a cliff. A healthy way to jump off a safe cliff into waters. Let me clarify that, because I'm not trying to encourage anything crazy and deadly. Just fun things. You need something that lets it all out. So go scream somewhere. Go, ooh, my favorite is going for a drive and just screaming the lyrics. That makes, a huge difference. So I'd recommend that as well. Because I feel like your feminine ancestors and family loved ones that have passed away, they weren't afraid to do that. And, you know, I think you need to not be afraid to embrace that feminine rage. It's a beautiful thing. If you ever, fun fact, I love TikTok edits and they're so random. If you ever look up women angry or raging, it's pretty inspirational, because, you know, we're taught a lot to not act outrageous or, you know, crazy when we're feeling things. No, like, let them know, like, you're freaking stupid for putting me through that. You know, like, just, I don't know. I just want to put that out there. I was thinking like spirit guides are going to be like, oh, here's a symbol for you to remember me by. No, they were like, girl, you need to cry. And this is my pile. Because when you release that stuff that you've been holding in, you're going to see how much safer you feel with yourself. And how good you're gonna feel, and you'll have a better outlook without being over emotional. Like, you have that time by yourself to let out all that emotion. So now you can really think of things now with a clear head. So I think this is my pile where we tend to go towards our divine feminine side more. They're asking you to hone in on your masculine side a little bit. So I think that's where that comes in. So like, we can be emotional and let it all out, but then once it's done, it's done. We got to get up and keep it pushing. That's what I'm getting from this pile. So, oh, and your loved ones wanted to bring up satin. So I don't know if you have like a satin pillowcase or something. It's almost like when I touch something soft, like there is a perfume or something really soft. It makes me think of them. So I don't know if you have like something satin or soft. You may want to hold that whenever you're calling out to them, and it brings in a more gentle energy from them. So that's all I got for you guys. I love you guys. Very thankful that you guys watch my channel. Please leave some comments below if you related to any of the piles. Also, if you want to contact me about a reading, it's better to go based off my Instagram and my Facebook tarot page, Duchess G Buns Tarot, or my Instagram, Duchess G Buns. And you guys can email me, and then I can email you prices and stuff, because it varies depending on the situation, because I know everybody's not in the same financial situation. So email me about your reading ideas, what readings you guys would like. Within the next month, I'm hoping to be putting more readings out on Etsy or something, and that way I can start being more specific and putting better prices on there. Sorry I'm doing this with my fingers, it just keeps me balanced, I guess. But I love you guys, and I thank you guys for loving me. So boop 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 boop. Bye.